Hey guys, welcome back to another highly probable string of failures in my Subsistence Hardcore January Start series. It took me about, I don't know, 30 attempts or so, I would say, to get a new save game set up. And I get a biofuel right away. Okay, I need to stop talking. Otherwise I'm going to do something stupid. Or stupider than I've already done. Okay, I'm going to get one more tree and then I need to get fiber. As you can see in this save game, I'm in a very similar place as I was before, but this time the temperature is only 8 degrees. Okay, I'm going to get down here. Okay, we need to craft 1, 2, 3. Craft this. And they're mowing outside. There's like a 15-foot strip of grass out there. And it takes them like an hour to mow it because they use a hand mower, which I don't understand. They're too cheap to buy a commercial mower. Come on, craft. I mean, you even cut it close when you get a biofuel that quick. All right. Okay, I have a fire, and it's not super cold. Yet. Wow, I did not expect it to be first time is the charm on this one. Because it was getting frustrating just trying to get a start where I wasn't in negative 15 from the get-go. So it looks like I can actually start moving the fire and make some progress here. So I think I already did that tree. I don't think I did this one, did I? Oh, it dropped just as I clicked it. My God. I'm not used to moving the fire because usually I'm stuck at my fire. But I hear a storm picking up. I swear it's programmed to do that. I think cold games probably watched some of these challenges in the past and said, nope. Not gonna let people do that. Oh, I did do this tree. Okay. Now, as much as I don't want to, I feel like I should save here because I don't know if the storms are always the same. I'm going to do it. So I just saved at this point. So I have almost a full fire. I want to try to get to that grub tree. I need to start getting a little bit of protein if I can. Here comes the storm. See, it's already -1. So I'm going to start taking cold damage. It's even worse than being unfair because you have a mechanic in the game that's supposed to keep you warm. And it doesn't. And a person could survive in the real world next to a fire, even if it was a lot colder. But it looks like I'm going to die again. It's just asinine. Yeah, -2. There's no chance of survival. 0. -3 on top of the fire. That means it's what? It's only -13 out here. I had to test, but I can reload my save and see if this storm does the exact same thing. But I'll just wait for a second here, and I can't die though. If I die, I lose my save because hardcore wipes your save. So yeah, this is a death. So I'm just going to go ahead, go to solo game, continue from last save. And let's see if this storm does the exact same thing that it just did. Because I will have a fire already. Because I'm so sick of restarting and restarting and restarting. That's just no fun. I mean, there has to be a point where you can get past that. Okay. So the storm is going in this example, but it's still only 0, which I think it was. But it will be interesting to see. Did I already... It'll be interesting to see if I have the same storm progression after reloading. So far it doesn't seem to be getting as bad as quick. Still 0. Okay. Let's see if I can pick this fire up. It's -1 right here, and I definitely didn't go up high enough for the elevation to make a difference. So I'm going to be taking damage, but... Shit. It's just unreasonable to... And you even have a pop-up that says, make a fire or make some clothes. Yeah, see... Down to -2 again already. Which makes this challenge not even feasible. Maybe it was when Athena Autumn first did it, but he has since destroyed the game from that aspect. You cannot succeed in this. Even with the fire. Yeah, I have 0 hope of success. I mean... I'll wait a couple more seconds and then I'll reload it again and see if I get a different storm progression. I think that this might be the end of the series because it's not fun to try to play a game that you can't play. I mean, the game doesn't allow you to play this way. Yep. So let's reload the save again and see what happens. It seems like it's literally programmed to kick in a huge storm as soon as you light a fire. Because that's been the case so far every time I've had a fire. Alright. So I'm back at 0 again. Rather than try to move the fire, I'm just going to sit here for a minute. And it's still pretty early morning. I'm guessing maybe 9, 10 o'clock. Maybe not even. Probably like 9 o'clock. This time it seems like the storm isn't picking up quite as bad. I mean, it wouldn't hurt to just sit here anyway and try to get my health up to full before I start trying to make any moves. Just gives me an extra cushion of safety. But second things first, let's get rid of this thing. I don't like the glow stick. Okay, now it's -1, which means I'm going to start taking cold damage. But it hasn't progressed as bad as the other ones. Although I am taking more cold damage than I should be. Now instead of taking just 1, oh, that one was 1, but the other, I thought I saw one that dropped 2 points. See, now it's -2. But it took longer to get to -2. Because by now it should be -3, and I don't think that slight change in elevation is going to make a difference. I mean, I can only go that much lower down to the lake. I can't let myself die because I want to test this. But I'll hold out as long as I can. Now the other possibility, and I may try this in one of them, is to take the fire out on the ice, cut a hole in the ice, and get in the water. Because if the water's a little bit warmer, sure, I'm going to be wet when I get out, but I have a fire. So I can dry off. That might be a fun thing to try and see what happens. Yeah, this is just... I don't want to tick too many more times because... Alright. Let's just reload the save again and see what happens. It's just frustrating. It's just frustrating. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and do that and get rid of this and then save again, just so I don't have to do that each time. I have plenty of wood in the fire anyway, I don't really need to throw that in there. Okay, so it's still -0. Let's just see how this storm progresses this time, if it's the same. I think it might be because the storm probably started, you know, from a programming standpoint. The storm already started before I saved, so the storm's progress was saved. Had I saved prior to whenever the game considers the storm as starting, then I might have had some sort of RNG to help me. But I'm still sitting at 0, so I could be wrong there. My health is ticking up. And you have to remember, I mean, I have January and February to get through, and there's going to be lots of storms like this. Okay, now it's -1, but we've definitely gone a longer period of time before it dropped to -1. Might as well just go ahead and throw the wood in here. Now it's -2. I should only still be taking, yeah, just 1 point of cold damage each time. Had I been able to grab like a chicken or something, that would have helped, because I would have regenerated some of my health. The problem is, I mean, from my previous experience in this game, not with this challenge per se, but just playing in winter, these storms can literally go on for days. I think the longest I've seen is 3 days where it just did not stop. And I could not leave my base. Still -2. Maybe on this next attempt I'll try to go cut a hole in the ice and get in the water. Seems like a really dumb idea, but I mean, I have a save point, so. Yeah, this storm is just not going to clear in time. Okay. I don't know what the hell that noise was. I don't know what they're doing. So what am I doing? I'm going to load up my save, and I'm just going to go straight out to the ice before it gets super cold, and drop my fire, cut a hole, and jump in the water next to the fire. And let's see what happens. I'm interested to see. So I saved after grabbing that wood, so I don't have to waste time grabbing that wood or getting rid of my glow stick. I hate those glow sticks. let's make a run for it. Oh my god, I can't do this. I'm not used to moving the fire, see? Oh, I can't cut it here, it's not deep enough. I really have to keep an eye on my health too, because if I die, I'm going to lose my save. Is it deep enough here? Yeah. Oh, it popped me out. It won't even let me get back in. Okay, I fell in. Okay, it's -4 in here. I don't think this is gonna work. And then it just pops me out. I can't just sit in here next to the fire. Yeah, it automatically pops you out. So that's a fail. Ah, that's frustrating. But it also seems like I wasn't any warmer in the water anyway. When I was submerged, it was -4. But you can't just sit there. If you get near the hole, it just pops you right out automatically, which is probably a good thing if you accidentally fall in a hole. But I wanted to just kind of sit there like in a little hot tub next to the fire. Alright, let's do a couple more attempts loading this save and just see if the temperatures vary from attempt to attempt. I don't think they're going to, because I saved as the storm started. So the storm is already in progress, so whatever the storm was going to do is what's going to happen, which is highly unfortunate. There's no bag near me this time. I probably should have checked that bag on that one load. Could have been some food in there or something. And they're still mowing out there. It's literally a 15-foot strip of grass. Must be like a 12-inch mower blade or something. Takes them 15 passes. Okay, it's still 0. But I'm taking cold damage. I don't understand that. Okay, now it's -1. It's because you can't see the tenths of a degree. Like if I can take 2.5 degrees before I take cold damage. However, sitting on top of a fire at 0, I don't take degrees. So now, yeah, see, it's -2. I think I saved my game in an impossible stage. Which means another 30 attempts to even get a chance. Potentially. Maybe more, maybe less. Might be here long enough for this to... Oh my god, I was here long enough for it to respawn? Are you kidding me? Wait a minute, does the tree respawn every time you log in? We're going to have to test that, because I know I cut it and then saved. Yeah, here's another failure. Let's go ahead and reload it again. A little save scumming never hurt anybody. Yeah, so the tree respawns every time. Not that it helps me. But I mean, you literally cannot make progress if you can't move your fire or leave your fire. Because sure, I could pick up my fire and start moving, but I'm going to take cold damage while I do it. And you cannot move fast enough with a fire to subvert that. Now it's -1. -2. Sorry for the creaking in the background, that's my chair. It's kind of funny, it's like a metal framed mesh chair that you would use like as a patio chair. But it was $24. If you try to buy an office chair with a really nice mesh back, and especially if it has a mesh bottom, you're looking at hundreds of dollars. Sure, you can spin in it and you can change the height and everything, but I mean a $24 essentially lawn furniture chair is super comfortable, and the mesh is really nice, it breathes. So it seems like the storm is progressing pretty much the same way each time, so yeah, I think, and this is just the first storm of many over January and February. And if you can't even get going, you know, get a shelter or something. I mean, I have nothing to build a shelter. I have no way to get food. I have no way to get anything to get food. I might try this just a few more times just for science, so I have a good sample size to see if the storm does vary in intensity. But so far it seems like it's not going to. Alright, well I don't want to die, so let's load another one. And I might as well cut the wood. At least I can feel like I'm doing something, even though it's completely useless. There is a bag over there. I am going to run over there and grab it before the temperature drops more. Nothing. Okay, so I took a hit, but I didn't expect anything to be in an ammo bag, you know, food-wise, but it's worth a check, I guess. kind of curious how Arpeggio's doing in his challenges like this. He's doing a number of other games right now as well, so you have to wait a little while before you can see another episode, but my experience with this has been pretty dismal. And one of these times I'm going to log in or reload and a wolf is going to try to kill me. So I have to watch out a little bit. Maybe I could kill that moose with the axe. That would be amazing. That would definitely be a YouTube short right there. The storm seems to be progressing about the same way each time. There might be a slight difference in how quickly the temperature drops. I'm not 100% certain without going back and timing it in editing, but the intensity seems to be the same. And it's unsurvivable. But I'll try a couple more attempts and just, why not? Something different to do rather than just run around looking for medicinal all the time. Alright, this is going to be a fail. Let's load it. I mean, people will say that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result, but until you do something over and over again sometimes, you don't know if there's going to be a different result, because you're not always aware of the variables at play and how they can differ from one sample to another. And in this case, it takes me just as much time to fail sitting here as it does to fail running around. So essentially, I'm not doing the same thing over and over. I'm trying to find a different way to do a similar thing over and over. See, there's that wolf. If the wolf comes over here, I'm going to have to pause and reload. Still -0, so... But I'm taking cold damage, so it's like -0.5 or something. Now it's -1. And I don't understand anyway. If it's 0, I should be taking cold damage the whole time, but I'm not. But according to this, I can only go down to +2.5. So it doesn't even mathematically make sense. So it seems like he messed up the implementation of temperature in some way, or at least the implementation of cold resistance. Here comes the wolf. Oh, so close. Don't walk over any closer. I mean, here he comes. Wow, I can't believe he doesn't sense me. Maybe because I'm just sitting here crouched. That's crazy. No way you can get that close. Here he comes. No, he still hasn't sensed me. He's gonna walk right up to me. I'm gonna whack him with the axe. That is crazy. I didn't know you could do that. So I'm learning something new. So if you just sit and don't move, oh my God, he's right here. Look at that. That is amazing. I'm crouched, remember. If you want to try this at home, I've got my finger on the escape key to pause. Trust me. And I'm watching my health. Wow. Did not expect that. Okay. That was crazy. I'm gonna load again. The wolf will probably be gone. Wow. Walked right up to me. I could have pet him. I probably should have tried to take a swing at him with the axe. Because I could use a stake. A stake would go a long way to surviving that storm. But he would kill me in like one attempt, and then I lose my save. Because you can't have multiple saves. Well, I mean, I guess technically you can. Well, yeah, I guess I could. I could go into the configuration, or into the folder where the save games are, make a copy of the save and set it aside. So that way if I die, I could just drop that save file back into the folder, because when you die in hardcore, it deletes all your saves. But if I take it out of the folder, I could preserve it and restart. I might as well get the tree again. Oops. See, now it seems like the temperature dropped a little bit sooner this time. See, now I'm already down to -2. So there is some variability with the storm progression as far as intensity. I don't know if it's enough for me to survive without having full health. But that definitely progressed differently than the other ones. Unfortunately, it went the wrong direction. I mean, it got worse sooner. But that means that it could potentially get better sooner in another scenario. Unfortunately, I'm the guinea pig in this example. But I'm trying to do it for the hopefully benefit of anybody that wants to do this challenge or has been doing this challenge and been struggling the same way as I have. I still can't believe that wolf walked right up to me and did nothing. Didn't even sense me. See, now if I had autosave on, yeah, this isn't going to work. If I had autosave on, it would have already saved a couple times and screwed this whole thing up. So if you're going to do it, make sure your autosave is off. But it turns it off for all your profiles, so just be careful. Let's try again and see if there's a difference, because that one definitely seemed like it got colder much quicker. So maybe there'll be an instance where it doesn't get colder that quick. Maybe it'll be longer before it gets colder. Make sure I'm crouched. I don't know if that makes a difference, but I think it pretty much did make a difference with the wolf. If I would have stood up, that would have been it. Okay. I should probably run a timer. I didn't start one this time, but it would be a lot more scientific. Let me pull up a stopwatch here for the next attempt. What in the heck is my phone doing? See, I'm going to be looking at my phone, and the wolf I don't see over here is going to come over this rock. But I guess we've kind of proven that they don't see me, unless that was just a fluke. What was I doing? Oh, pulling up a stopwatch. Sorry, I had all these messages and everything. Okay, I have a stopwatch ready for the next attempt here, just to see if the temperature always drops at the same time after loading in. This one seemed like it took a little bit longer, but I really wasn't paying attention. The stopwatch will be the only definitive way to know for sure. Because time, at least for me, time perception can vary greatly depending. Well, I mean, everybody probably has the same thing. When you're having fun, time flies. When you're at work, it takes forever. You know, that kind of thing. But even just in a micro sense, if you're thinking about a certain thing or you're trying to calculate, your time perception will change. I think probably if you're in a relaxed state, time is more extended, or at least the perception of it, versus if you're doing lots of calculations or you're stressed out, it might seem like time is moving quicker. I guess another example of that would be like when I was a paramedic and we would go on really bad calls. I mean, I need to reload this. We would go on really bad calls that, you know, the kind of stuff that never makes it to the hospital, those kind of calls, because everybody's pronounced dead on scene. When you walk into those situations, time slows down. It doesn't initially. When you first start out and you're a rookie or whatever, everything just happens in a blur. Oh, look at that. And I forgot to hit the stopwatch. I'll hit it right now. Yeah, when you first start out, everything seems to be moving so fast. You feel like you don't have any control. But once you get a few years under your belt, time will actually slow down on those really bad calls. And everything becomes really clear. It's really difficult to describe. But in those super high stress, high priority situations, it's like your mind will alter the perception of time in order to give you more time to think clearly and act in a proper manner. Of course, when you're talking about those types of calls, most of the time all your efforts are futile anyway. But a lot of times what happens is those calls are really dangerous for you. You know, if it's a bad car wreck on a busy interstate or something, you need to have that presence of mind and that ability to spot danger, because I mean, we would have people plow into our accident scenes. They get drawn to the emergency lights like moths. So yeah, it was really dangerous. I'm fortunate to still be here. I've been attacked a number of times, had knives pulled on me, guns pulled on me, we've been shot at. So it's a crazy world out there. Can't watch any of those shows on TV because they're just so fake. The real world is so much more messed up than anything that I've ever seen on TV. Alright, so I pressed a timer, but I haven't been watching the temperature changes because I'm just babbling on about dumb stuff. But let's just start over now, and then I can reset the stopwatch. And as soon as I pop in, I'm going to hit start, and then I'll make a note of when it drops to -1 and then -2, I guess, for a start. And we'll see what happens. And the stopwatch is going. Let's crouch down, let's get some wood. I need to try to keep an eye on that temperature, so I don't want to move around too much. As soon as it drops, I will glance at the stopwatch. We're at about 33 seconds right now. "46 seconds. "1 minute 8 seconds. Okay, I just took a cold hit, so it's below zero. It just dropped to -1, 1 minute 16 seconds. Now I'll watch for it to drop to -2. Okay, 1 minute 45 seconds, it dropped to 2 degrees. So 1:16 and 1:45. So there's no need to wait any longer. Let's reset the stopwatch, reload it, and see if it changes. I think it is going to change because I don't know, it seems like it's varying. But we'll know. We'll know for sure. And if it doesn't change, then it means that this is a failure, no matter what I do in this instance. Alright, stopwatch is going. I'm not going to cut the wood this time. I'm just going to set it up so I can see that temperature really well against the tree. But yeah, I'm planning on recording some of the other things that I play. I don't know if I'm going to do series on them or anything. They're quite different from Subsistence. I've played other survival type games in the past, but I don't really play them anymore. Let's see, what else have I played? Valheim. I've played The Infected. What's that one where you're shrunk down, like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? I can't remember. Am I crouched? I'm not crouched. The one where you're really small in the backyard and you're running around, that type of survival and crafting and building. That one was pretty fun, but I haven't played that in a long time either. But then I also play, hang on. Okay, so we're at 116, and I think it was a 1 second difference. I think it was 117 this time. Yeah, I play Star Citizen, which is more of a, well, it's an MMORPG, space-based, and you may or may not have heard of it, but it's been in development for over 10 years now. It's crowdsourced development. Okay, well, the 2 degrees came about 9 seconds later. Okay, let me reset the stopwatch. So there is some variation there. Not much, but there is some. But yeah, Star Citizen is pretty controversial. Everybody, I mean, not everybody, but there's a good number of people out there that think it's a scam. But I mean, it's a really aggressive development. I mean, the graphics are insane. The various game loops and, okay, I started the stopwatch. The game loops and all of the mechanics behind the gameplay are just, some of them are groundbreaking, which is why it's taking so long to develop. So I tend to give them the benefit of the doubt. I've spent maybe $115 on the game over 10 years, and I've gotten at least that much value out of it already, and it's not even close to being done. Another thing that I still play on rare occasions is EverQuest. I play it on the Project 1999 server, which is an emulated server of the original EverQuest game when it came out back in 1999 when I was playing it religiously. I mean, I went through breakups over that game. I lost jobs over that game. I mean, it was pretty intense. I don't play it that often, but that might be something I'd be willing to do. And then, let's see, what else do I play? Well, LSPDFR, which is Los Santos Police Department. That was 119. Los Santos Police Department First Response, which is a mod in Grand Theft Auto 5, which allows you to play as a police officer. It's a lot of fun, but it's definitely more adult content oriented just because of the language and the violence. Okay, that was 142, so that came earlier. So we are seeing some variation. Hang on, let me reload again. I'm not seeing enough variation to give me any hope, but let's try another sample. But yeah, LSPDFR is a lot of fun. I mean, you can pull people over, you get into high-speed chases. You know, every once in a while you get shot at and you have to, you know, shoot back. It's a lot of fun. It's chaotic. And it's cheesy. Alright, stopwatch is going. So that's another one. That I'll consider recording. what else do I play? Well, it's not really a game, but I like to, it's more of a simulator. It's actually a spaceflight simulator called Orbiter. And there's two versions that are mostly being used these days. There's a 2010 version. Okay, that was only 38 seconds when it dropped to -1. So there's a version from 2010, and then there's a 2016 version. Wow, 53 seconds only for -2. So this was much quicker drop. That was significantly quicker. But yeah, Orbiter is fun. Basically, it's a simulation of the solar system, and all of the planets are modeled, and the distances are all modeled. The physics are modeled, so it uses Newtonian physics and true-to-life orbital mechanics. You have to figure in your fuel consumption and, calculate your launch azimuths and your trajectories, and it's pretty intense. It actually takes a long time even to learn how to use it, and you have to learn a little bit about rocket science and physics in order to even play it. I was just holding out a little bit here to see if it would drop down to -3, but it doesn't look like it's going to. So let me reset and try one more, because that one was significantly faster by like 20 seconds on both accounts. But yeah, Orbiter is a lot of fun. I tend to play the 2010 version just because you have to use quite a few mods when you play it in order to get a more rounded or realistic type experience. Okay, the stopwatch is going. And the newer version, a lot of those mod developers kind of fell off of the face of the earth, so to speak. So some of the mods that I like to use aren't available yet, or possibly will never be available for the 2016 version, which is, it's a real shame, because the 2016 one added a lot of really cool features, but yeah, so I might try that. I mean, you can fly to the International Space Station, you can go to the moon, you can go to all the planets, and that might be something interesting that people might like to watch. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I play on a regular basis. Not really at the moment. Okay, that was 1 minute to get to -1. So there is some variance. -2 was really quick. That was at 117. Alright, I'm gonna load another one. Just because I can. But yeah, I'll probably make like an episode of each of those, or of some of those. I don't know if I'm going to do all of them, but I'll just make an episode and see if you guys are interested in maybe seeing more of any of that. Because I don't just play Subsistence. Okay, stopwatch is going. Although these last couple of weeks, I'm pretty much only playing Subsistence. I played a little bit of the LSPDFR last night. I actually recorded it, but I wasn't happy with the recording because it's kind of a difficult game to play from a key bindings perspective. I mean, LSPDFR is a mod of GTA 5, but then you install all of these mods into LSPDFR in order to, give you more tools to work with, different vehicles, just different mechanics to make it a little bit more realistic, more fun, give you more things to do rather than just the base install. And there are so many key bindings. I mean, there's so many key bindings that you literally have to go through and change them just so that you don't have conflicts between key bindings. Okay, this is taking a lot longer. We're already at 125. Okay, it just dropped at 125. So this is the longest it's taken to drop to -1 so far. Which means I've had more time to recover health. I'm assuming -2 is going to take longer as well, so we're already at 150. There's -2, 158. So let's just kind of hold out for a little bit here. But getting back to Subsistence, I mean, this challenge is just impossible, I feel like. I think I've tried it enough times and had a fire enough times and still died that and this is day 0, because it starts on day 0. And I still have to get through January and February. Oh my god, did my fire just go out? No, but the light turned off on the tree. Oops. Just gonna drop all that wood in there. Doesn't matter. I'm going to try to hold out and see if the storm lightens up at all before I absolutely have to pause. But I do like games with a challenge. LSPDFR is a challenge because, I mean, you're trying to be a cop. You never know what you're going to walk into. It's similar to, I don't want to say it's similar to being a cop in real life, but there's some similar aspects to it. Yeah, the temperature isn't going to come up enough. Alright, but I definitely lasted longer. That was about 4 minutes and 5 seconds. This is probably boring for you guys, but I love this kind of stuff. Because it's a way to, you can kind of see the code behind the game when you do things like this. So there is some variance. It's not hard-coded. That storm isn't hard-coded to do certain things at a certain time. There's some variance in there. And if you got enough samples, you would be able to see probably exactly what those variables are in the code. But you would need a lot of samples, and it would still be a guess. What I'm really hoping for is, instead of seeing a tick down to -1, I would love to see it tick up to +1. And if that happens, I'm probably going to make another save point. But I might just do that off camera too. But in this early stage, there's nothing you can do other than get a fire. So this is the only defense you have to survive. And, well, I'm not crouched again. So we're coming up on 117. Still hasn't dropped. 125. Okay, okay, -1 at 130. So this was kind of long before it dropped. But yeah, early on, you're just so vulnerable. All you have is your fire. Granted, I would still have to get through January and February, but presumably, if I could get to the point where I can start fishing and make clothes or a shelter, -2 at 206. So this is much slower progression. So let's see what happens here. If you can just get to that point where you have some sort of shelter where you can hide in the storm and be able to get food, your progression is going to be really slow, but you could at least not die. But early on, I mean, you can't loot if you can't leave your fire or even move your fire. I don't even know how long this episode is. Now it is possible that the duration of the storm is hard-coded. But since we've never seen the end of the storm so far, it's likely hard-coded to continue a lot farther than I can survive. If it could have just held off for a few more minutes, I would have had a lot more hit points to work with. And I mean, my health sucks, but my hunger is still pretty good, and that's partly because I'm not moving. Because you do burn protein and fruit and veg quicker when you're running around. Or even walking around. Just walking around burns it at a certain rate, running around burns it at a higher rate. Okay, I'm about to die, so I have to pause. I almost didn't even catch that. But I made it about 4 minutes and 15 seconds, so that's a lot longer than previous attempts. So let's continue on. I'm just going to go ahead and let this keep recording, even though I'm probably going to cut it off, because nobody's going to want to sit here and watch this. Come on. And the stopwatch is rolling. This is definitely not as fun as running around. Let me crouch down so I can see. White wolf back there. Okay. I feel like in this one, I think I can see those trees in the background, like next to the trunk of the tree. I feel like I can see those better than I have in other ones, so we'll see if that makes a difference. Maybe it's a lighter storm this time. Okay, I just took my first cold hit, so the temperature is dropping. -1 at 122. So this is more like a moderate type progression, somewhere in the middle, not the quickest, not the longest. I'm not writing these down, so I don't need to get that technical. -2 at 151. It took longer to go from -1 to -2 that time than it did, I think, in any of the previous samples. So the -1 was pretty average. The -2 came a little bit later than usual. That could just mean that the storm is going to last longer. I don't know. It kind of suggests that the duration is expanded if those times are splitting up. But either way, I'm not seeing a meaningful difference which would lend any credibility to potential survival in this particular save. I think this will be my last recorded example, just because you guys are probably sick of listening to me and watching basically nothing. But I'll probably go through this a few more times, just for my own sanity or insanity. I would just love to see, for once, the temperature tick back up, even if it goes back to -1. But I have yet to see that, and we've definitely not seen it go positive. It's still clicking down at 1 tick, yeah. So I can hold off for a couple more seconds. Okay, that's it. Lasted about 4 minutes and 8 seconds. Alright, so I'm going to end it here. This is probably a really long episode. Nobody's going to watch it, but, you know, even if one person watches it, then I appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Watch my channel for some other content potentially coming up. Like I said, I'm probably not going to do any series on the other games, but I will put it out there and see if you guys are interested in seeing more of it. And I will see you guys at some point with what? I have no idea. Take care.